Happy St. Patty's Day, everybody. You know what I'm doing today. I'm getting fucked up. But anyway, besides that, though, I'm here to tell another story. This story is about when I finally caught the dude that snitched on me when I was 15. I know it sounds crazy. I was 15. But when I caught him, I was 18. And I'm going to tell you the story and how it happened. So when I was 15, I used to sell stuff, you know, and I used to have a bunch of shit, man. I had 2 phones, and I'd be going to school like this, 2 phones on me, some money, not a lot. I wasn't rich, but I had some money on me, and sometimes my dumb ass would go to school with, I used to sell, because it was spice heads. Like, I never smoked spice, like K2. I never fucked with that, but a lot of people in the area did. And a lot of people in my school, the older students, like the ones that are about to graduate, they smoked that shit and they was buying it from me. Well, there's this dude named Bailey, and he used to be my homie. And I used to front him shit, and he'd bring the money back or whatever. And we used to hang out all the time. And one day, he started smoking the shit. I stopped fucking with him a little bit, but he wanted some K2, and I sold it to him. And he kept asking me about it. Hey, bro. And I was selling like 10 sacks here and there, 20 sacks, whatever. It wasn't a lot. I was only 15. Well, so he comes up to me one day. He's like, bro, I really need some, bro. I was like, all I got is a 10 sack, man. He was like, man, I got 10 on me. Let me get that. I'm like, all right, cool. I sell it to him. Well, during that week, he broke his arm doing something, because he played football, and we all played football. He broke his arm in football or something, so he went to the doctor, and they prescribed him painkillers, right? Well, the night that I sold him in school, the night that I sold him that 10 sack, he goes to a football game to watch the football game that night. And I wasn't at the football game. I was at home. I don't know what I was doing. I was probably playing video games, fucking around with my girlfriend at the time, something like that. I don't know. Well, next day I go to school. I got another 10 sack in my pocket. I got 2 phones. I got money and shit. I got some jewelry that I wasn't wearing at the time in my pocket. I had a whole bunch of shit in my pocket. So if you pulled it out of my pockets, I looked like I was selling drugs. Well, I walk into the school with my girlfriend. We get off the bus. We go right into the front doors. And I see the principal, Mr. Huckstep. Fuck this dude, man. Him and the athletic director, man, they really was bogus as shit. The athletic director, he kicked me off the football team and everything. Like, they were just bogus. So I walked in there, and the principal, Mr. Huckstep, was standing there. He was like, Kane, can I see you in the office real quick? And I'm thinking it's some normal get in trouble with the principal shit. I'm like, man, I tell my girl, I'm like, I'm going to go. I'll see you in class later. She's like, all right. She walks off. I go in there with him. He takes me into the office. And I look around. And it's like the police, like the gang and drug task force, all in that bitch with vests on. I'm like, what the hell? I'm looking around. And they're like, come in here. And I was like, I ain't going in there. And then one of them like pushed me in there from behind. I didn't even see him. So I'm in there. I'm trapped. One's standing at the door. One's sitting down. One's over here. The principal's over here. Athletic director. And I'm surrounded. And I'm looking. I'm like, what's going on, man? I'm like, what's going on? And they was like, well, we heard that you were selling drugs and you beat somebody up and forced them to sell drugs for you. And I was like, I never did that. I don't know what you're talking about. And all of a sudden, the cop stands up. The chief of police stands up. I've spoken about him in my old videos. Fuck this dude. He stands up and grabs my arm and twists it, bro, like trying to break it. I'm like, damn, what are you guys doing? They twisted, handcuffed me, and like put it on tight as hell. I'm like, whoa. I said, hey, man. I said, I'm a minor. I don't have a lawyer. Call my mom, get her here, let her be present. I'm not talking to y'all. They were like, and then the principal was like, when you're at my school, I act as your parent, so I could do whatever I want with you. I was like, that's not true. I'm like, what are you talking about? Next thing you know, the cops and the principals, they're checking my pockets and I'm handcuffed. They pulled out all my shit out there. They were like, yep, we knew it. And I was like, what are you talking about? I'm confused. A battery, like forcing somebody to sell something for me. Like, I don't know what you're talking about. Regardless of what you found on me, I don't know what you're talking about. They take me to juvie, right? I spend, from the time I was 15 to 16 years old in there. Well, come to find out, I got my discovery papers and everything. Come to find out, Bailey, my old friend that I sold the 10 sack to, so when he broke his arm and he got the painkillers and the 10 sack I sold him, when he went to the football game that night, he was selling his own painkillers. And he was also like selling little like bullshit out the bag to people, and he was trying to act like he was this big dope boy, you know, showing off and shit. Well, somebody told on him, went and got one of the teachers and the principal or whatever, and they came and they called the police, and they found the shit on him. He starts crying. Kane beat me up in the bathroom, and he made me sell my own painkillers, and he gave me this and made me sell stuff. He makes me sell stuff for him. And bro, that was not true. So I went to juvie for something I didn't even do, you know? And that shit irked my soul, man, because that was the first time that I ever really did time, and it was for something I didn't do. I didn't force him to do anything. I never put my hands on his punk ass. Ever. I was cool with him. And he turned out to be a fucking fiend, so I stopped fucking with him. I'm just like, all right, well, if you want to buy something from me, that's cool, you know. And if you want, make some money with it or do whatever you want with it. I was still cordial with him. I never forced him to do anything, though. Never laid my hands on this faggot. Oh, I shouldn't say that on here, but I'm so mad that I had to. But, so he got me that time, and that he testified against me. He had his mom testify against me in court. And bro, I got a long time. I got like a year and like an extra year house arrest or something. So I didn't get off of all of that until I was like 17, from the age of 15. Well, a couple years goes by. I'm not seeing this kid no more. I'm not seeing him walk around town or nothing. He's on probation for selling the painkillers, but he got off easy because he snitched on me. Whole bunch of shit, bro. Like, my life was living hell from the age of 15 to like 17. Finally, I get all papers. When I turned 18, in my old story, I told you about the first time I caught an adult case and went to county jail. That was for something separate. But I went there. That was for something separate. Well, I'm in county jail. I'm like 6 months deep into my bit, right? I'm not even thinking. I'm standing in front of the TV eating a slam. Like, I'm sitting there eating, I'm watching the TV. All of a sudden, you hear the door. They're bringing somebody new in. And I look over, and I'm like, what the hell? And I see this kid walking in, smiling all cocky, looking around like, you know, like, first time in jail, but like trying to look cool and cocky, and got this big smile on his face. And he's carrying his mat and his basket and shit. And it registers in my mind who it is. It was him. It was Bailey. And I was like, I immediately lost my appetite. And I'm like, this motherfucker. I'm like, yeah. You know, I got excited. I'm like, yeah. I'm like, so I set my shit down. I don't want him to see my face. I don't want him to recognize me and tell the police to take him out of there. Well, I set my bowl down. I told my boy, Todd, I'm like, hey, watch my food real quick. I'm going to change out my oranges. He was like, why are you changing out your oranges? I said, or my whites. I was like, I'm going to go change out my whites. He's like, why are you changing out your whites? I'm like, just hold on. I went upstairs. I changed out my whites into my oranges. Back then, we got orange shirts and orange shorts and shit like that for like the day room. And then if you had white t-shirts, you could buy those. So I had those too. So I was like, I had my fresh whites on. Because I knew what I was about to do to him. I was going to get blood all over my white tee. And I didn't want that. You know, I just bought it. I just got it from commissary. It was like a $6 shirt. So I go up the stairs, go into my cell, 4-man cell, change out into my dirty clothes, basically. Come back down. And he's standing there talking to Todd, my boy. The one that's watching my food, right? he's standing there. He's all like cocky, like his movement. He's just like, yeah, they got me on a minor consumption because we were both 18, and he got caught drinking. He wasn't 21 yet. He's like, I got caught for a minor consumption. He thinks this shit's so cool. And it's his first time in jail. And Todd's just like looking at him. He's like, how old are you? He was like 18. Oh, that's why it's a minor consumption. They're having a conversation. And I walk up and I tap him on the shoulder. Bam. He turns around. He looks at me. He's like didn't even recognize me at first. We haven't seen each other for like 2 or 3 years. He looks at me and all of a sudden, I'm like, what's up, motherfucker? Like that. And he's like, oh, bro. He's like, oh, I didn't know you was in here. Like, I didn't know. Well, I said, fuck all that. Ain't no bro, nothing. I said, come in the cell real quick. So he was like, why? I said, because I'm going to get you together. So I took him in the cell, and he's standing there but at a distance, and he's acting scared. I said, put your hands up. I want a fair one. I was like, you don't put your hands up, bro. I'm going to put you down. And he's like, man, I don't want to fight you, bro. This and that, man. Man, we were only 15 years old, man. Could we let it go? I said, no. I said, fuck that. I said, we're about to fight. He walks right out the cell, walks out on me. So I lose my temper, and I'm like, I know he didn't just walk out on me, bro. And I just challenged him. I just called his fade, and he just walked out on me. So now I got no choice but to go out there in the day room and do it to him right there, right? So I come out, boom, and he's sitting there trying to talk to Todd again. And I walk out, I say, hey, bro, get back in the cell before I drag you back in there. He had his jumpsuit tied like around his waist, right? And he like hikes it up a little bit, and he looks at me like this, like cocky, like, but he ain't like the type, like he was just a hoe in the cell, but now he ain't trying to look like a hoe in front of everybody because everybody's paying attention now. So I'm like, come back in the cell before I drag you back in there. And he looks at me like that. Right when he did that, bro, I hit him twice. I hit him the first one. Bam! Hit him. All of a sudden, it was like his shit exploded. I hit him right here, the first shot. And immediately, it all just and split open. And blood, just like blood clots, just falling out. And I'm like, and I looked at him when I did that, and his eyes, like, kind of like glazed, like, he was looking at me, but it was like he was looking up. So, like, I must have stunned him to where his depth perception was off, and he thought that I was up, like I was up here. So he's like that and shit. And I was like, I got him now. And I hit him again with the same hand. Bam! And then that's when, like, literally right when that happened, the first hit, this dude named Shane, he was a punk too. This dude named Shane, he was older than all of us. He opens the cell door. It's a solid door. Right when he swings it open, because he heard a commotion out there, he swung it open. The second hit, when I hit Bailey, he fell back and hit the door, because it flew open when he hit the door, or it flew open and he hit the door from Shane coming out. So he hits the door and he's like, boom, and he slips on his own blood and he falls on his ass, and he's damn near out. And everybody's like, oh shit. And I'm like, yeah. And I'm going to grab him, and I'm trying to, like, because there's blood everywhere now. It's a mess. I'm like, fuck. I'm going to get caught. So I'm grabbing him by his jumpsuit with one hand, and I'm trying to, like, drag him, like, through his blood into the cell. And I was going to finish him off. And everybody's like, Kane, let it go. I said, get him in the fucking cell. There's blood everywhere. Get him in the cell. They were like, bro. I said, get him in there now. And they were just like, dude, just let him be, bro. He's fucked up. This kid was like looking dumb. So finally, they stand him up and they walk him into the cell. Blood everywhere. There's going to be a second part to this one.